All right, everybody, what has Infinity Ward got us into with this new shotgun? Oh my lord. I'm going to be covering the KV Broadside shotgun in Warzone 2. This is my first Warzone 2 video in quite a while. We're coming back, hitting stronger than ever because we got Rebirth, or rather Resurgence, and we got our new shotgun. There's a lot to go over, so let's just get into it. But this shotgun, the KV Broadside shotgun, is easily one of the most devastating shotguns we've had in Warzone in a long time, and this thing is just absolutely disgusting. So with today's video is basically I'm going to break down some of the stats and the numbers and stuff at first, then I'm going to show you guys the best class and some alternatives to that class that is going to get you guys probably a lot of hate comms, a lot of trash talking. You're going to get a lot of people saying, what the hell is he using? Because this thing, my god, as far as shotguns go, this is insane. So if that sounds good to you guys, let's go ahead and just start and get right into it with some of the ranges and all that good stuff. Talking about the damage and the ranges with this gun, up close and personal, you can deal 120 damage per shot with this gun, which means that you will take 3 shots to kill at 250 health. One thing to notice is that with armor, you have basically a cap on the damage you can do overall. So yes, you have that 4 pellet magic cap where you deal damage per pellet and there's capped at 4 pellets, but then there's also this mechanic where it just kind of hard caps you no matter what at one specific number with these shotguns. And for this gun as well as the Expedite, it is 120. That is the magic number up close. This range for 3 shot kills extends out to about 3.7 meters, give or take a few tenths of a meter, but actually past that range you can still get 3 shot kills because you're going to be dealing around 96 damage, which is about 24 damage per pellet. So you can still 3 shot kill out to around that 9 to 10 meter range. It's a little finicky to test this stuff, so just bear with me. We don't have the numbers from sim.gg yet, but basically know that around that 9 to 10 meter mark you can still get 3 shot kills with this thing. And considering the fire rate, this thing is an absolute monster, and that is no joke for a gun that shoots this fast. Having a range like that is more akin to how the Gallo was when it was first introduced to Warzone 1, where it was kind of a menace to society. That's kind of what you're getting with this, but in my opinion, this one's a little bit better, as you'll see soon. Speaking about the rate of fire, this thing shoots at around 208 rounds per minute with the base gun, and that is hand tested. Keep in mind, this is probably a little bit off because I have my own methods of testing this, and it's probably going to be just a little bit off, but this is a general ballpark, and it'll get you close enough. At 208 rounds per minute, that puts your 3 shot time to kill at about 576 milliseconds, which really isn't anything crazy necessarily. That's not really that great compared to a lot of the other SMGs, but it's still pretty strong, and considering you have a lot of magazine options, that's actually really good. But we do have an option of putting a bolt on this gun to make it shoot faster, and with that it takes it down to about 465 milliseconds for that time to kill at about 258 rounds per minute. Again, that's kind of a ballpark figure. This number is probably going to change when we get access to sim.gg's numbers, which are basically exact, so just keep that in mind, take that with a grain of salt. But I think anyone who's used this can tell you this gun melts people pretty damn quick. Now, of course, the real kicker about this gun, with all the customization you can do with that bolt and all that kind of stuff and the magazine attachments, you can also equip these things with Dragon's Breath, and that is really where things start to get a little bit wild, because with Dragon's Breath, you're basically dealing more damage overall. It's around that 130-ish points of damage, give or take a few points of damage, because in-game doesn't seem to be super accurate and consistent, but you're dealing more damage than you are with the base gun. And with Dragon's Breath, you essentially turn this gun into a 2-shot machine. Now, granted, it is 2 shots and then a little bit of a burn, so it isn't like 2 shots and they're immediately dead. 2 shots and then there's a slight burn that takes a little bit to kick in, and then they die, which it kind of rounds out to be a little bit faster than the base gun, it seems like, but overall you deal more damage. So using Dragon's Breath really is great in Warzone. With Dragon's Breath, it does take 3 shots out to about 9.8 meters, and then after that it drops to about 5 shots, whereas normally it's just a 4 shot with the base rounds. So this thing, the big downside to Dragon's Breath is that even though you do a lot more damage up close and it's more deadly, out at further ranges, normally past that second range, you're going to deal a lot less damage per pellet, and then you're going to take at least 5 shots to kill. Now, if we consider that it's a 2 shot with a slight burn, the theoretical time to kill with just 2 shots, if it was immediate, would be around 232 milliseconds for 2 shots with that extra bolt attachment, which is one of the fastest times to kills in the game. I mean, that is without a doubt one of the fastest things that will kill you in this game. But since there is a burn, it doesn't take quite that little amount of time. It's going to take a little bit longer, so you're looking at probably around that 300 millisecond mark. So this is akin to killing someone in 2 shots really quick with the Lockwood 300. It is that fast, and then this is absolutely a monster of a shotgun. So now what I want to do, since I've given you guys some basic stats, is kind of go in-game and show you the class that I've been using and some other alternatives to that, so you can really have a great time using this thing until it's nerfed, of course. So we're going to be rocking a barrel, and out of the barrels, I usually go for the Gunner D20. Now, there's this barrel, and there's also the ZLR Sport 8, which are very similar. They give you about the same range. I can't really find a huge difference. I'm sure when sim.gg comes out, we'll find out the truth, but the Gunner D20 seemed to me like it gave you the best bang for your buck when it comes to range. So we're going to pop this thing on. We can tune it for however you want. Really, just make sure to crank up the damage range. That's all you really need. You don't need to tune anything else. I wouldn't even bother. But then for the next attachment, we're going to be rocking Dragon's Breath. Then for this one, you can really just tune it for damage range, and that's really it. You don't really need to tune anything else. For the stocks, we're going to go for the VLK stockless, because this is going to be a hipfire machine. We're not going to really bother aiming down sights unless they're kind of far out, which it's not too hard to control, and since we're not using slugs, I think stockless is fine because you get a great boost to your mobility, and even though the recoil is a little bit worse, it's totally worth it. Then for the bolts, of course, you want the Dash Bolt 60. This is a key attachment because you really want that extra fire rate, and it's really going to destroy people, and it's going to be great. Then, of course, for the magazine, you guessed it, we're going to rock the 25 shell drum. Normally, I'd say this is overkill, but I found a lot of success in quads. I mean, that's all there really is in Resurgence, and it is extremely nice to have that many rounds, and just to kind of block it out in your mind that you need to conserve ammo, don't even worry about it. Just go guns blazing and shoot like crazy. That is the key to this build. If we want an alternative build, here is a build that I have that's going to give you the best range in class, but it's also going to be a little bit better at range because we're not using Dragon's Breath. So this is going to be a little bit better at range, like I said, and you're still going to have some decent mobility. The SA-MX50 is going to give you some more range as well and keep you suppressed, so that's also nice. And again, 25 shell drum because we want to keep that, we just want to keep spamming away like crazy. Now, if that's a little too slow for you, you can do something like this, where we're just using 12 shells, the 12 shell mag. We're going to be using the Bryson choke as opposed to a laser because they seem to give you about the same tightness when it comes to your hip spread, and you don't have a laser that's visible. So I'd go for the Bryson choke. You can tune that for an even tighter spread, and then of course tune that for damage range. The range 12 is another good barrel that gives you some range, but not crazy like the Gunner D20 barrel. So this is going to be a good alternative for that. And of course, rock the Dash Bolt and the VLK stockless. As for my thoughts on this gun overall, oh my god, I think the close range meta is basically established now. If you haven't caught on to this thing, you need to do it because this is destroying the competition. This is really one of the strongest things in the game right now. I don't think a lot of people are catching on to it yet. People are probably still unlocking it through the battle pass, but good lord, this thing is a monster, and I can't emphasize that enough. This is extremely strong, and in my opinion, it's a little too strong. I do think that this gun is a little too strong. It's a little too overbearing simply because the range extends a little too far in my taste. If you talk about something like the Origin 12, that thing was only going out to like that 7-meter mark, and it was like 4 shots or something. It was not nearly this strong, and I know we only have 250 health, but I think this thing needs to have its range tuned down just a little bit. I'm okay with it shooting super fast. I'm okay with 120 damage. Just keep the ranges in check. But if you like these sort of spammy shotguns, this is going to be a great build for you. This is a great shotgun to use. Oh my god, it might just be the best close quarters shotgun and gun in the game. I'm really not overstating that. This thing is an absolute behemoth. If you haven't used it yet, unlock it as soon as you can and give it a try. For now, that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you haven't tried this shotgun yet, what are you doing with your life? Go unlock it now. Go try it out in Warzone and be amazed at how quick you can drop fools. It's crazy. And with all that being said, guys, let me know down below in the comments, have you tried this shotgun? What do you think of it? Do you think it's a little too overpowered? Do you think it's a little underpowered, which is kind of crazy if you do? I think it really is probably the best shotgun now. And with all that being said, guys, I will see you in the next video.